No.
Sure.
Okay, we're back. Now we're taking the front end apart on this 1942 WLC. This has all got to be disassembled. We got all the kit to rebush it. There's parts on here that aren't great, some that are okay, some that aren't. Mr. Tatro noticed that the spring, the legs might be a little bent.
Maybe.
That's not surprising for the thing being 74 years old, but we don't like the headlight. The headlight is called a sea light, SEELITE. Did some research. It's off of a British bike or something. Not correct to.
Well, the lenses go back to Jeeps and stuff from World
Oh,
War II.
okay, but the
Right.
light was chrome.
Someone
but
else looked it up and said it was BSA.
Yeah.
But this ain't BSA. It's British. This looks like some kind of industrial light. But
anyways, the light's gonna come off. But
it's a nice light for some other project. But
yeah,
this one.
now these guys are purists here.
No, this ain't. We're not putting that on a Harley.
Mr. Tatro is a real purist. Also, this WLC comes with a ride control too, which is not normal to WLA bike.
Yeah, WLA never used them.
WAL never used them, and also the lower springs, they're the wrong overloads in the bottom. They're too light, so we determined that's not correct.
You can do that.
Okay.
Watch me do all the work.
All right. You gotta tell me.
Did you break the camera again?
It does have most of the fork dampening on there, but it's not complete. Pieces are missing.
To do something better about that. Oh, you are slow and old.
I'm a relic from the 60s, and I remember every chopper.
Jeez, that's got a lot of crap on it.
As a kid,
did you lubricate
I
that?
did not.
You know you're going to tear up the threads, don't you?
Had extended forks on them, and most of them were springers. I wondered how many of these wonderful springers were destroyed over the years. Also indicating these Springer front ends are frightfully expensive now on eBay. So hopefully this one's not too bent up.
Gotta get this freed up. Somebody was screwing the threads all over.
Tell me the difference between a big twin Springer and a 45 Springer. Is there a difference?
The stem.
Oh, the stem. Okay, well that's good to know. Also, we did some determination on the WLC has the big twin what?
Rockers.
Big twin rockers on the bottom.
Okay, the difference in the 45 and the big twin is this has a 7/8 stem instead of a 1-inch stem.
Okay, so that's how you could tell.
The other difference is this has a 1/2-inch hole down here instead of 7/16 because it has different rockers.
Okay.
Now WLCs and trikes both use big twin rockers and front wheel and stuff.
Ah.
That's why both your wheels over there are the same.
Right.
Over there.
Right.
Otherwise you'd have a conical hub front wheel with a 45.
Okay.
So only the WLCs, the trikes, and the big twins have the big rockers.
And also the WLA, the front wheel was different than the rear, correct? They were not interchangeable.
The conical hub.
Okay, conical hub.
Now the big twin stem nut is only about this tall up here, so that's how you can identify these real quick. Besides just the diameter, when you look at them, the big twin one's only like that tall.
Okay.
So you can see them real quick.
Okay. Also interesting enough, this looks like all original Cosmoline.
It looks like original grease on it.
Yeah, it's pretty original.
It's got. You got the original paint on the inside. It's not likely somebody took this apart and painted it because it's got the original paint.
It's got the original paint still in there.
The outside, I think, has been painted.
Yeah, I think they give it a touch-up. Yeah.
Now the steering damper, which they had on all the bikes, this is supposed to come out. It's not.
Looks like a lot of crap down in here.
It looks like somebody has been beating on it with a big hammer already. See how it's.
Oh yeah, bent.
The top view. You can see
oh sure, yeah.
So that's probably why it was disconnected because it didn't work. So that's going to require some torching, I'm sure, to get that freed up. Now the big twin didn't have this style steering damper. They had one that had tits sticking up like this. Because on the big twin frame there's a little, like a 1/4-inch web that comes down on the
Right,
stem,
right.
and that's what this engages into. This one here has a 7/16 wide notch in the frame. That's what this
Okay.
goes into.
On the yeah.
Other than that, the steering dampers are all the same.
Well, it's curious to know why Canadian would have gone a little different spec than U.S.
Then on
Army.
the 41 WLA and the XA, they had the 2 1/16 longer front end here,
Oh.
or 2 3/16. So this here, instead of being right here, would actually be way down here. So you can identify them pretty quickly.
Okay.
And they ran big twin rockers also.
Okay.
And they still use 45 stems though.
Hmm.
And of course, people like us used to cut the stems out and change them to 1 inch because you could buy these things for $100 a piece back in the 70s and 80s.
Surplus, yeah.
Yeah.
They were junk, yeah. Nobody wanted them, right. Pretty solid.
It's not moving. So you gotta hit it back and forth to kind of start to free it up a little bit. If it'll move at all, which I doubt if it's going to. See how it's still got drag on that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not really moving. So we'll get some heat on it. And we'll have to do the same thing. You get it going back and forth, and once it starts to move, then it'll start cutting the rust. Then it'll usually come out. If it moves, you can usually get it out. It's just when they don't move, you're screwed.
There's also a spring in there, was there not? That's, I see, broken off in there somewhere.
There's a spring down in there, yes. Stock, if it's in there. I don't know if it's in there or
Okay,
not.
well, I'm guessing that's where the tolerances
It
ended.
might be. The spring just floats in there loose.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the ride controller coming off right now. So we got this piece off here. So let's see if that comes off. See, that's not supposed to be quite that tight either. So
A
that's
lot
probably,
of paint on it, though.
that's probably rusted right in here. That's coming off. These are, a lot of these were stainless steel, but they were some steel ones. Probably during the war they would have been steel because they're cheaper to make, and stainless was used for more important stuff.
Will you explain how the WLA bounces in the front?
Well, on my bike, when you go into a corner doing about 43 to 45 miles an hour, the front end starts poking and washes out on you. So that limits how fast you can go. So you can do 80 miles an hour into the corner. You can't be turning anything faster than 45 or 43 right in that area. So I have a problem usually when I go into a corner because I'm hauling ass. And I'm doing 70 into the corner, and it starts wobbling on you big time. And you gotta kind of slow down a little bit. And once it gets down to that speed, you're usually in the middle of the corner at that point. So you just hammer it coming out of the corner, and it's fine.
But normally the Army wouldn't have allowed their troops to go that fast.
Well, they probably didn't have a big stroker motor in there.
Oh, okay. Well, then see there again, that's been the age-old problem, is somebody in there changing something around.
Somebody might have butchered that
Yeah.
bike. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea who would ever do that, though. It is a fun beating those big twins with the drags. So you just go back and forth. See how you got the rust right here?
Yeah.
See how you're working that out?
Yeah, I'm guessing that hasn't been
See, this one's
apart.
still got loop on it, so it's not
Yeah.
too rusty. Now you need to use a steel hammer or a brass hammer because you gotta have that shock to get it to move.
How do you keep from mushrooming the threads, though?
You don't hit it very hard.
All right. That was the answer
See how
looking for.
See, I'm just using light taps. And when it doesn't want to move, don't force it. Come back and do it from the other side. The other problem is this one's stuck here, so I'm holding it with my thumb. Okay, so there's our nylon. This is our asbestos brake shoe material. It's in a steel cup. This here's just a steel washer.
Is that stuff available?
I have it. I have original style stuff. maybe Twin makes their reproduction crap, so you can always buy their stuff.
I've noticed this front leg on these Springers always had these holes in it, but a lot of them didn't have the ride control. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's an option. Probably another $10 to get a ride control. That's how each time I hit it, it goes further. So I think now we're on the paint. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to beat on this and do what I don't want to do, but she doesn't want to come out any further.
You want to use a drift on that?
I'd have to go get one. Kind of drifty already, so. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our scraper. Remember the scraper we have?
Yep, the big industrial one.
I don't know what that one is right now. That'd be a good one to use though. I'm going to use my gasket scraper.
You know, somebody did actually prime this all and stuff. That was kind of interesting, huh?
See how it's
Yeah.
CAD plated underneath like it's supposed to be? Because these were CAD plated factory. See, that's how you know when stuff's been not original. Nothing was always one color on Harley. It always had different colors. Whenever you see something that's all one color, somebody just painted a bike and just rolled the windows down and painted, you know, they didn't do anything. It's a cheap way of doing things.
Boy, that made a big difference.
See how that's loose too? Paint. See, now you got the factory finish on the bottom. See, CAD plated. And this was CAD too, see how it's flaking off here? So if we can get some paint remover on here and get the paint off, it might be nice CAD underneath and then it'd be good to go. We'd run it the way it is, natural.
Yeah.
So these are probably, I don't know, these might be steel being military. Now see how it's all galling up right there?
Yeah.
That means you had some contamination in here, like rust or dirt.
Something.
So you need to take these back in the grinder and grind them back flat, and get get all the grit and stuff out of that material. Or put new ones in there and start over. You can see how they get worn.
Yeah.
This spring here was always Parkerized, so it would have been black. So, what do you think these are made of?
I'm guessing steel. Yeah.
Yep, military.
Okay.
Civilians would be stainless. The airline's out of the way now. So these here, I'm not sure what color they would have been factory. They would not have been painted because that would interfere with their lining material. So they were probably CAD plated, be my guess. I don't think they've been Parkerized. CAD be my guess. Okay, now we gotta get these studs out of here. 3/4 in those, I bet. And these are the original studs. Good luck on finding these.
Really?
Yep. That would have been the first thing you would have thrown away on a bike when you're working on it.
Right.
All this hardware should have been black. Would have been Parkerized. Even though it looks like it's coming up shiny. These are definitely black, you can see them. Well, and all your stuff is nice because it's not all rusted.
Well, I don't know.
This stuff's not rusty.
He said this thing was in a guy's shop.
It's better in the shop than under the shop.
And the transmission was broken in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever had been registered because wherever it came from, evidently they couldn't find the parts or just so it sat in a shop.
Yeah.
So when he got it down to Florida, he had somebody do the transmission on it, but he never did get into the finer parts of any of it.
Yeah.
The carburetor, of course, was the wrong carburetor and all that other stuff. As we found out yesterday, the generator was junk in it.
Yeah, that's definitely a car light. See how it's got that top of the end on it?
Yeah.
I guess it's probably on an old Jeep or something, maybe. Or
So you said that bracket is original, but it's been modified. Why would it have been modified for what?
because this is not a Jeep.
Oh.
This is not an automotive.
So what?
mount.
Oh, I see. So they just built this up to give it a little cradle
Yeah, they give
for
it a
this
washer.
for the light to sit. I see. That makes sense.
Pretty much just butchered it. So now you got a custom light for a springer.
Yeah. Okay.
That might be available for purchase. Now you know it's an original light. See, it's got silver reflector in there.
Yeah. I thought it was a neat looking light.
Looks like it takes a regular bulb though, but it's a big bulb. You can tell it's big.
The headlight actually worked. So.
Yeah, it looks pretty good with the
Yeah.
details.
Yeah. It did. It did.
screwed together. So first
Okay.
$100 gets it, right?
Whatever. We need it. We're working on a pizza fund here, so
Pizza. Oh, I'm getting fed.
I don't know if you want pizza again. All you do is holler.
You're supposed to have a half gallon of grease in your pizza.
Well, I can't. I'm not in the kitchen. I don't.
Supposed to stop at 1 quart. Where's my other wrench? There's one. Now this bracket here has been repaired because it broke, obviously. So we'll get you an NOS one. Still got those floating around, so we'll get rid of the bad parts here. Now, if you want to know if you got original bolts, you look at what numbers are on them. The first thing you notice, if you got any kind of titties on there for identification, for strength, it's not a military
That's
bolt.
not an original bolt, no.
And the early war was plain head, and the late stuff had CP numbers on it. So they went over to CP later on.
CP meaning what?
I don't know, that's just a manufacturer. So you can see how this one was all welded up where it broke. So it's no good. So this one was loose. This one is so. These look like they were plated also, see?
CAD, yeah.
So you probably scrape this stuff off. See, look, there's CAD under it.
Yeah.
So you need to get some paint remover. And you probably want to get some nice parts out of this deal. This is supposed to be a little bit tighter than this.
Boy, what a nice piece that is.
Yep, beats the hell out of that damn Ted Steichel crap. I had to fix one of those before already. Yeah, I had to hand file all the squares
Oh, wow.
because the guy that put the thing together beat him with a big hammer and nothing worked. So you couldn't adjust it, you couldn't tie it in, it just was there. Full 100% cosmetic, you know. All the looks and no function. Around here we actually like it to work. Okay. Now.
How tough is it to weld that in there?
Well, what then?
That,
Stem?
yeah.
They're raised in factory.
No, but when you guys were changing them.
We just press them in and weld them on the back side.
Oh, I gotcha.
There's a fork and back like that right now. Actually got one of Dad's old forks. The guy didn't have it on his bike for more like 500 miles. It was a brand new fork, so I'm going to trade him a complete wide glide for it. Handlebar to wheel for just a Springer. Did that like 20 something years ago. Was happy to get it too.
That's pretty solid.
Still solid. Alright, so now we got our rockers down here to deal with. So these have lock tabs down here. So the first thing you do is get the lock tabs out of the way. Check out those on that one. So you have to take this nut off to get the rocker off. Hey, it's hard on his tools. Oh, that's the one I already took the lock off of. See this one here, it's still locked.
The nut's spinning.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping it would tighten up, but it didn't. Excuse me. 13/16. Let's see if we'll look out. Hey, look at that. Is that tight?
Appears to be.
That's enough.
So the studs are assembled in the leg. You can throw all those away.
Need some washers?
Yeah, that stuff. I don't know why you're putting them in there with all those other quality parts.
See, now this rocker will come off, see? How do you know these are quality?
Well, I think they are.
Bet you the bushings are worn out.
I bet you they are.
Bet you the Zerks are probably dirty.
The axle holes look good.
Oh, that's good. Alright, so once we get that off, I didn't see any lock tabs being used on these. So these have a screwdriver slot here so you can hold it so you can tighten
Gotcha.
it up. And if you look at that, you can probably see that's worn pretty heavily.
Yeah, sure. Well, there again, I don't guess it's been rebuilt any in 75 years.
Nope, that was never rebuilt. That one doesn't appear to be as bad. That one might actually even been usable. That's rare.
You got new ones, so
Yes, we have new ones.
you had those in stock here.
That had a broken titty on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure these holes aren't all eaten out. Appear to be good. Now the reason I said it was bent was for what reason?
Well, you thought crashed. Well, I see what you're saying, but it's, you know,
See how this one's wider than this one?
yeah. Same that. But this seems parallel here to this.
Yeah, it's loose.
Okay.
Slide over.
Okay. Oh, I see. All right.
How far off is it?
Well, an inch. Some width, yeah, a lot. Yeah. Okay. Well. That certainly looks
You
fixable.
see any offset in that?
No, I do not. No. So that could attribute to the wear on the pins too, huh?
That can attribute to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you know things are not quite straight.
You know, I wondered, and I've looked at that frame a lot. I don't see that the frame's really out, but pretty hard to tell.
Yes, it is.
I remember down at San Diego Harley on India Street, they were straightening frames down there all the time with string and clamp and
It works good.
yeah. Set up a plumb bob on it and everything.
Plumb bob? Oh, you're getting too high tech now.
No, from the neck down. I mean, they, you know.
That's too high tech.
I saw him do it. That fella down there, Jack Cottrell, was the next. Did you know any of those guys down there?
Nope.
On Indy? You did not. You would have enjoyed that shop.
One more time.
There were some real nice fellas down there. Carl Barnes, Jack Cottrell.
They were moved to. They moved after I started getting into Harleys.
Sports Arena. I never did like that store. Did you see that XR 750 on eBay right now?
Nope.
35 grand. Buy it now.
Did you buy it?
I did not.
Why not?
I was going to show it to you.
I don't
We'll
want
get Fred, you and me and Fred in on it.
I don't want any XR shit.
You don't?
No.
1980 it said.
And a late one too.
Looked pretty good.
I like KRs. I don't like XRs.
Both of the intakes on the right side flared back. Is that a decent price for something like that? Pretty expensive.
It's up to you.
Just curious. Were they any kind of race bike?
It is a race bike.
What?
It is a race bike. There was no XR street bikes.
You know anybody that could build a motor for one of those?
Yep. Yep. They're not that hard to work on. It's like any race motor. Alright, so there's our bend.
Oh, I see.
So you have to measure. You have to measure the width. Then you got to put it straight as down the center line here. Camera. You put a bar down through here, which gets you down the center, and you measure from side to side. It should be equal on both sides. That way you know which way it's bent. So,
I see.
but obviously there's something wrong.
But not real apparent to the naked eye.
Yeah. So you figure it out. Okay, now we get a little more dangerous.
Those aren't any huge preload, are they?
A little bit. Well, I could make it not dangerous, but why would I want to do that? It's no fun in not being dangerous. What size are those? What size are these?
Looks like an inch and better.
Yeah, they're better.
What are you, inch and a quarter?
I don't know. They're bigger than an inch, I know that. Just have to get bigger tools. We'll just go to Harley's normal size, 1 1/8.
Those XRs were all
Appears to be the right size.
kickstart, were they not?
No,
They were electric start?
nope.
What were they? Oh, push start.
Push start.
No shit.
It's a race bike.
Wow.
Okay, on these here, you gotta just stand back as you do it.
Well, I could see I would have been over my head disassembling this myself.
To assemble, you're gonna actually have to compress it, but for disassembly, it doesn't matter. And you notice I took the rocker arms first off because if you didn't do that, it'd be hard to get the arms out.
Right, right.
Okay, so this is the correct upper or lower spring. have the right layer of goo on them.
Those rubbers are holding them up there.
Those aren't rubbers.
Okay, snubbers.
Those are ball joints.
Okay.
They have a petrified lubricant material in there.
They sure do.
So the early ones are like this, where they didn't float. The later ones floated. They didn't have the lip on them. Now these here, I have never seen a straight spring in a Harley yet. And I absolutely know for 100% sure they are not original, because Harley would never have a spring just floating around down in here. See, that's just floating. Not rattled.
Yeah, but didn't they go up against this?
Nope.
Down here?
Nope. Nope. See how this is bent too? This
Yeah.
is bent big time.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, been tweaked.
Looks like it's bent in the middle.
Maybe that's why it's wide, huh?
I've never seen one bend like that.
Wow. Boy, you'd be hard pressed bending that back, wouldn't you?
I don't know how the hell you would ever bend it doing it. How would you bend it like that?
You got me.
I've never seen one bend like that. I don't know how you would do that.
That's all cast.
Yeah, but it's bent. These are not straight. It's supposed to be straight.
Yeah, this one here, it's bent on the, you're right. This one's bent. This looks straight.
Yeah, they both look bent. We'll have to see, but it's definitely... Yeah, this one looks straight up and down to this. This one's definitely moving in. But it's not to the rods bent, the whole thing.
No, it's not the rod, it's the whole thing. Yeah.
That'll be fun to straighten. That's going to be interesting. Anyway, these are bent so they don't rattle.
Right.
In the 30s, they had straight springs and they had cuts in here and they had little flat springs in here, so when it wouldn't rattle. So there's no damn way Harley would put that in there, because
Yeah, I see what you're
rattle.
saying. Sure.
There's no way. They would never have done that. Never, never, never.
I think
They
this.
used 4 of these is what they did. They had 4, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. I think they're like a 1/4 inch difference in length too. They looked the same, but they were slightly different.
Okay.
So this is definitely bent, and that's why this is so much wider over there. Like I said, I don't know how in the hell you'd ever bent that thing. The legs look pretty square.
They do. I mean, it's square here.
It's all up in this thing here. So we're going to have to measure these holes, the distance here, and then we're going to probably have to heat this thing up with a torch and bend it. Don't know any other way of holding it to do it. You don't want to be hitting on this because it would flatten it. So
No.
you have to just heat this thing up with a torch and just push on it like that, and it would just bend it around.
And bring it in. Bring these up to parallel.
Bring it in and then call it done, whatever it comes in at. We'll have to figure out exactly where it's bent and how much. So that means I'll have to pull out one of my good ones. You know I don't want to do that. Now the military springs are a little bit heavier than the other ones. And they're supposed to be the same height.
And so one's sacked out.
Yeah. These look good. Well, once again, they're not rusted, which is good. So you need 2 more of these if you want to make it right. But you don't really need 2. You don't need the bottom ones, you don't need the upper ones anyway. The upper ones when you go, after you hit the bump, when the wheel goes out that way.
Oh.
It keeps it from stringing
Yeah.
like that. But the rock arms are going to keep you from going too far.
Right, right,
It's not going to let you go.
right.
So this is when we worry about when you bottom it out. And they
Right.
will bottom out. That's why you want that in there. So the bottom ones you need. The upper ones, cosmetic.
Okay.
Alright, so now we're going to go back and do a little torch work on this. And play with this a little bit. And then we're going to to do something to see how this looks. Now we lay this on a flat table somewhere, and this should be flat if it's
Right.
straight.
Mm-hmm.
So we just happen to have a little table over here that might be semi-flat. We also got that big table in back. This is not too hard to get to. See the dirt coming out of that thing? See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's bent. See all the rust coming all over this floor
Oh, yeah.
when I flipped it over?
Yeah. Who knows what's in there?
It's on the floor again.
Oh, God, look at that.
Only on the one side.
I've been sitting under a tree somewhere, probably.
That's why they get all rusted out. They fill it full of water. Then they freeze and they'll split down the whole length.
Did the military one have that little stainless little
Yeah,
badge
it was.
on them?
I always told you they split.
And there that is.
There's the split.
Look at that. From water, huh?
Yeah, it would freeze and it splits them. So this one's all split. This one over here looks okay.
So what do we do about that?
Well, the paint's going away, I know that.
So far, this thing has been kind of a bucket of worms, hasn't it?
Well, this is the expensive part to be bad as this. This is big bucks here, but that's alright, we'll just fix it.
V-groove it out.
We'll just weld it up. Be alright. We'll make it work. It's not pretty, but looks like it's only cracked on the one side. See, where this bike come out of?
Canada.
Yeah, that's probably why it's rusted. I mean, probably why it's
But interesting
cold.
enough, it's not a lot of heavy surface rust on it.
no, it's not surface rust. It just had water in that leg, and that leg had a bunch of rust coming out of it.
Yeah, right.
It got liquid in it. So you're supposed to have a cover up here covering these up.
That little piece, yeah.
A little tin cover. It keeps the water out. Yeah, obviously,
But that was under the top handle of the ride control.
it had a hole or something because it got water in it and froze. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna clean this up and we'll go ahead and torch on this and see if we get this spark.
Okay.